Hi everyone, my name is Amy Areno. I am a graduate student at SPU and I'm doing a online wellness program, and I'll be talking to you guys today about reaching your health goals for a healthier you. So first, we're going to be talking about SMART goals and what they are. We're going to be talking about maintaining a healthy weight through diet and exercise. And we're going to be talking about tips for success and some health benefits that come out of it. So the first thing I want you guys to do before we go forward is to please pause this video and to complete the Behavior Change Plan pre-survey. And that's going to be located in the description box of this video. And before you go through these questions, go ahead and just ask yourself, what does health mean to you? Or what does being healthy mean to you? If you could change one thing about your health, what would it be? So kind of have those questions in the back of your mind as you go and do this survey. So go ahead and pause it. I'll be waiting for you when you get back. All right, you're back. So what we're first going to do is talk about what a SMART goal is. So I don't know, have you ever had a goal in mind, like let's say a New Year's resolution or something that you wanted to achieve, but it just never fell through, it didn't work out for whatever reason, and you kind of asked yourself, why did that happen? Or maybe you didn't, you just carried on with your life and just forgot about it. What SMART goals are meant to do is they're kind of meant to help you focus your efforts on your goal in order for it to be more successful in the future. So the first part of it is specific. So what do you want to do? You need to have a clear and simple goal in mind with real numbers that you can use. The next is measurable. So how will you know when you've achieved it? And you need to make sure that your goal is trackable. Next is achievable. So is it in your power to accomplish it? You need to have a goal that's challenging, but that at the same time is possible. And then relevant, so ask yourself, can you realistically achieve this goal? And then don't forget to keep in mind any barriers that you may have to achieving it. And lastly, timely, so what exactly do you want to accomplish? And then give yourself a deadline to hold yourself accountable. And so next we will go into an example. So let's say your goal is weight loss, and you say, I want to be swimsuit ready by summer. We hear this all the time. I mean, you hear this in the media, you hear these on ads, being swimsuit ready. But really, it's like, what does that mean? That's not a good goal because it's very vague, it's not specific. It kind of sets you up for failure. But to say, I want to lose 10 pounds in 2 months, well, that's a good goal because 10 pounds is realistic, generally, and 2 months gives you enough time to achieve that goal. Well, you might be saying, I have a bigger goal than 10 pounds. I want to lose more than that. And that's okay, but we need to take these small steps at first. So for healthy and safe weight loss, it's really about 1 to 2 pounds per week to lose, and that should be the goal. And so that equals to about 500 calories per day deficit in order to lose the 1 pound per week. And this calorie deficit per day can either come from nutrition or exercise. You might be thinking 2 months is a long time for maybe not a lot of progress. The key is to really be persistent and really patient as you go through this, because a lot of people give up before there's even progress made. And so I want you to shift your focus from weight loss towards healthy behavior in order to have a long-term outcome. So what's next? We have diet versus exercise. And when I say diet, I mean nutrition. I'm not talking about any of these lose weight fast diets or any of these restrictive diets, because these are not successful long-term. So we really want you to start with small changes to your diet. We're not talking about making any of these drastic lifestyle changes all at once because it's just too much. So excess sugar really correlates to excess calories. And so excess calories and sugar just puts you at an increased risk for diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. Excess sugar really doesn't have any nutritional benefit at all, and all that extra sugar just goes into extra calories and excess weight. So the FDA recommends less than 50 grams of added sugar a day. That's 12 teaspoons. That does not include any of the fruit or milk products. Those are natural sugars. And then we are using the FDA recommendation for this just because that's what's on the nutrition labels, even though other sources like the American Heart Association, they recommend about half of what the FDA recommends. So just kind of keep that in mind as we go through and look at nutrition labels. So here I have two examples of pasta sauces here, because I want you to remember that sugar isn't just table sugar. Don't just be thinking, well, I don't add sugar to anything at all, because there's a lot of hidden sugars in things like bread, pasta, even salad dressings. Which one of these do you think has more sugar in it than the other? Right. So Ragu has 12 grams of sugar a serving, while Classico has 5 grams of sugar a serving. And so that's more than half. But it's just something to keep in mind is when we're buying things to kind of just take a look and see. Okay, take a guess and see, where do you think is the largest contributor of added sugar in the diet? And yep, it is drinks. So right here where those stars are coming up, those are the added sugars. These are kind of fairly new on nutrition labels. They added it a few years ago. So you'll see it to say added sugars, which means that it's everything extra, that it's not naturally in the ingredient. And so when we look and see 39 grams of sugar, well, that is almost exceeding the daily limit of sugar. And then when we look at the Starbucks drink, that is going over, it's like about 50 to 60 grams of sugar for a grande there. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying to not drink these drinks and not have them. That is definitely not what I'm saying. I want you to just think, is there any habits that you might have that have these maybe unknown sources of sugar in it that you could potentially modify? Let's just try to see, can I just go a week and see how can I do with just having it maybe once a week or on weekends and not every day. So just a word on diet modification. I don't want you guys to think of things as good or bad foods. This is more just about mindful eating and just being aware of what you're eating. So next is to increase your fruits and veggies. So how can we do that? We need to aim for about 1.5 cups of fruit and 2 to 3 cups of vegetables per day. And these are recommended by the CDC. And in order to do that, well, first of all, we have to buy the vegetables. Okay, so don't think, I have to buy organic, this is expensive, I can't do this. You can still buy frozen, canned, fresh veggies, all of those are fine. Just when you're buying the canned stuff, make sure that there's no added sugar for the fruit or added salt for the vegetables. And then try to leave your fruit out in sight when you buy it. I know if I have it on the counter, it's kind of a reminder every single day that I need to eat that because it's going to go bad if I don't. And then you can also do things like just freezing your fruit for a snack like grapes or bananas. Half of your plate should be vegetables, ideally. Now I have these two pictures here of what an appropriate size for portion control really is. So a 3-ounce cooked lean beef should really be about the size of a deck of cards. Now I know when we go to restaurants that size is probably double or even triple that. And that's okay every once in a while, but just kind of when you're at home and you're making it yourself, try to keep that in mind, that a deck of cards is more the size we should be aiming for. And then for the broccoli, about a cup of broccoli is roughly the size of a baseball that we should be aiming for. Okay, so now that we talked about diet, let's move on to exercise. You don't have to think of exercise as joining a fancy gym, going every day, or joining CrossFit, or signing up for a marathon, or doing any of these really big things that can seem really intimidating. So the CDC recommends about 60 to 90 minutes of moderate intensity most days of the week. And so that can be broken down into 20 to 30-minute increments. It doesn't have to be 60 minutes all at once. So doing things like taking the stairs instead of the elevator. These are just going to be some simple examples of how you can slowly add up exercise without really making it a big event. Biking instead of driving, doing some house or yard work, getting off the bus stop 1 or 2 stops early, and then park at the end of a parking lot. All of these things will just help increase your heart rate and just kind of do little bits and pieces at a time. I do have some activities listed here. So there's what is about 300 calories burned for an hour's worth of activity. So that would be things like light gardening, yard work, walking, bicycling, or golfing. And then what's about 500 calories burned in an hour? Well, that's like basketball, heavy yard work, and that's like chopping wood, swimming, or aerobics. Okay, so like I said, it takes about 500 calories a day deficit to lose a pound a week. So if we're incorporating some of these activities, incorporating it with some of the nutrition modifications, the goal of weight loss is more realistic. So some tips for success. Persistence is key. I know it's hard to do the same thing every day or to have a routine, but just being persistent and not giving up, especially if you have a specific goal in mind for a number for weight loss, don't weigh yourself every day. You're not going to see the results daily. Like we said, it takes about 2 months to see a 10-pound weight loss. And then give yourself credit for baby steps. You know, change is hard, and it's recognized. So if all you're wanting to do to start out is you decided to take the stairs at work instead of taking the elevator, and then you're switching a bag of chips for baby carrots at work, that's still success. Give yourself credit for that. And then just remember that slip-ups are expected. No one is meant to be perfect, and no one is meant to do any goal perfect the first time. And you can always do it all over again tomorrow. Tomorrow's always a new day. And then find support. Family and friends who have the same goal in mind are a really great source of support to help you reach your goal. And then reevaluate your goals and your progress. See what parts are working well and what parts need modification or tweaking. And then maintaining a healthy weight can, of course, have great health benefits. So preventing chronic disease. So this can lower your blood pressure and cholesterol. Oftentimes people think that, everything is okay because they feel fine, but the high blood pressure is often called the silent killer for a reason, because you're at an increased risk for heart attack and stroke with high unmanaged blood pressure. And maintaining a healthy weight can also reduce your risk of diabetes and cancer as well. It can also improve your quality of life. So that includes reducing your risk for depression, improving your sleep quality, and then improving body aches and pains. So thank you guys for staying with me here, and if you could please go ahead and complete the Behavior Change Plan post survey. I really want to see, did you have a plan before this class? And then if you have a plan now, please let me know. I want to hear what you guys have ideas for. And just remember, these small changes are okay. You don't need to have an enormous goal for it to count. If you have any questions for me, you can go ahead and email me there. I will be answering questions until July 1st of this year. And then after July 1st, if you still have any questions, you can go ahead and email Captain Barnes.